guys, it's Landon Blake from Redefined Horizons, and we're back in Trello. You remember in the first video of this series, I was showing you how to set up a Trello board for a repeatable workflow or a pipeline in your business. And in this case, I'm setting up a workflow that's used to track the progress of projects for site development projects where you're doing a boundary and a topo. And so this is my project management board for those type of projects. And in the last video, we ended with a set of lists here for the different phases of a project, and the list moves in chronological order from left to right. So the projects start over here and move to the right as you progress. And each project is going to be represented by a card. And so in this video, I want to show you how I set up the template card that I use for the projects, and you'll see here in a couple minutes why we do that. You don't want to create that card from scratch for every one of your projects. So I'm going to add a new list and call it template or templates. You probably only have one template, but you might have a couple more. And I'm going to name the card project template. Okay. And then we're going to click on the card to go in, and we're going to set this card up. Okay. So the first thing I like to do over here in my description is I'll say I want to know the job number, job name, client, point of contact, project manager, and then I'm going to put in here party chief. We'll put lead party chief. Okay, so when I start my project, I want to go in and add that information. And so part of what you can learn from this set of videos, in addition to how to set Trello up for a workflow, management of workflow, is you'll learn a little bit about how I manage these kind of site development projects. So I like to have an assigned project manager and at least a lead party chief. That party chief's responsible for all the field work that happens on a project. Okay, so now that that's done, what I'd like to do is we're going to add some checklists. And as a general rule, I will have a checklist for each list, so for each phase in the workflow. That doesn't always happen, but as a general rule. Okay, so the first thing first checklist we're going to add is for the project kickoff meeting. So I'm going to add the title for my checklist. Click add. You can add any number of elements or items to your checklist. So in the project kickoff meeting, I want to make sure that I have reviewed the scope of services, that I've reviewed the project budget and the target man hours for each task, and that I've discussed any challenges, and that we've covered fieldwork safety topics. So I want to make sure that we talk about safety on every one of my jobs for the fieldwork. Okay, and I also want to make sure that I've provided instructions on charging time to the job. So that's the job number and the phases, and make sure the team knows which task gets billed, which tasks are billed to which phases. Okay, so there's my checklist for my project kickoff meeting. Now the next step I usually have, the next step I believe in our workflow, is the research. So I'm going to go ahead and add a checklist for the research phase. Okay. And so most of these items are going to be related to the boundary survey. There'll be a couple related to the topo. And so, in fact, I might even split that up. We might call this boundary research first. Okay, so I want to make sure that we pulled tax assessor maps for subject, for the subject parcel and all adjoiners. Okay. I want to make sure that we've pulled filed survey maps, and I want to make sure that we've identified any special boundary research. So if we're up against a railroad or canal or a water body, that might require some special research. So we want to make sure we identify that. Let's see, we want to make sure that we've obtained and reviewed the preliminary title report if we have one. And usually on these projects, we'll be asked to map the easements that are listed in the title report. So I want to make sure that we've obtained copies of easements listed in the preliminary title report. And then I want to make sure that also that we've reviewed the subject parcel vesting deed. I want to make sure that we've reviewed the, actually I'm going to say obtained and reviewed the adjoiner deeds. And then we want to make sure that we've obtained and reviewed documents referenced in any of those deeds. Okay. And I might come back in later. You can come in and change these, edit these lists anytime you want. You can also drag them to reorder them, click on them to rename them, that kind of thing. Click on the three little dots here, the ellipsis if you want to delete. You can also convert any of those steps to a card. Okay. All right, so I'm going to add another checklist here because we're going to split out the research for the topo. Okay. And you're probably thinking, what kind of research do you need to do for the topo? Well, so depending on the project, we may need to identify utility, service providers, prepare a utility as-built plan request exhibit and letter, and obtain as-built for on-site structures or major site features if available. Okay, so now if you click on this template, you can see the three checklists are here, and as you complete those items, it keeps track both on the checklist, and also you can see over here on the card, it's keeping track of our total progress. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this video or end this video here, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish my checklist, and then I'll just come in, do another short video to show you how you can move a project card through this list as work progresses, how you can add comments and make some attachments and work with due dates and some other things. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.